Hi there, film fans. I'm Rex King, and today we're talking about Transformers 1. So, Transformers 1 was directed by Josh Cooley, the guy who brought us Toy Story 4, and follows Orion Pax, the Transformer that would become Optimus Prime, and D16, the Transformer that would become Megatron, in their early days and basically their origin story. So, I'm not the hugest Transformers fan. I got into it via a series called Transformers Cybertron when I was growing up, but I never really delved deeply into the lore. And like with a lot of things, I got more into the comic books than I ever did with any of the actual animated series. And I know the lore is a little different between the comics and the actual shows. So I probably would say I don't have a deep understanding of the lore of this series, but I have a basic understanding that allows me to get by. That being said, when I heard there was going to be a fully animated Transformers movie, I was psyched for two reasons. One, we haven't really had a fully animated Transformers movie since, well, 4 decades ago. And it was about time we revisit that series in an animated medium. Uh, Furthermore, I also heard there were going to be no human characters. Finally, someone understands. You don't need a human character to make your story interesting or relatable. You just need interesting characters. I'm just so glad that a film finally gets it. And I was really looking forward to Transformers 1 as a result. And I saw the trailer and immediately all of my expectations went right down the drain, as I felt the trailer was focusing more on comedy, and therefore I felt the film was going to be more of a buddy comedy film than actually dealing with the Transformers lore and the relationship that D16 and Orion Pax should have. God, was I wrong! And man, does that trailer not sell this film well, because this film focuses on the relationship, and as a result, it's actually really good. Like, this takes the Prince of Egypt route, where it focuses on two characters who start out as friends and grow apart as the film goes on, focusing on their relationship and that basically representing a core conflict within the story. That works so well in a movie like this, and yes, the buddy comedy angle is still there for at least the first half of the movie, but it doesn't overstay its welcome as a result, and the film just gets better as it goes on, especially as these characters start to come into their own and realize their own potential. You have Orion Pax, the robot that would inevitably become Optimus Prime, and pretty much he starts out as a mischievous person who wants to prove that he's more than what society has deemed him. Meanwhile, you have D16 on the opposite spectrum as a robot who's trying to basically make the most out of his role in society. He follows the rules. He doesn't want to be seen as somebody who is a rule breaker, and he just idolizes the people who have run the society for as long as it's existed. Well, as long as it's existed in the written history, anyway. And basically, as these two start to learn more about their society and learn more about what led them to this, they both take drastic changes. Orion Pax starts to realize he needs to become more of a leader in order to lead his people out of the society that they see themselves in, and D16 starts to realize how much he's been lied to in the deep-seated anger that starts to brew in him. I really like how this film manages to do that and manages to have these two play off each other. They really are two people you could see being friends, and what happens to them and their resulting relationship is quite tragic and quite fascinating. Furthermore, I really loved the animation style. I felt like this film looked fantastic, and the music score is also really perfect as well. This film is really well crafted. The hardest thing I think this film had going for it was its voice cast. It basically had to take characters who had been voiced by popular voice actors for a long time and change their voices and change their respective actors. I mean, Orion Pax is voiced by Chris Hemsworth as opposed to Peter Cullen. I mean, we've all gotten used to Peter Cullen's voice, that hearing someone else in the role was a little bit difficult. But I do feel like Chris Hemsworth nailed his voice for this character, and it does work. But the standout to me is going to be Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. I didn't think he would be good in this role, but man, was I surprised with what he gave us. And maybe it's because Megatron has had multiple different voices over several generations that it's easier to see a different voice in the role. But I really like what they did here. At the end of the day, I like Transformers 1. It did have a few problems. The story is a little bit predictable, and the buddy comedy that they do try to insert into the film really doesn't work and at times does become annoying. But like I said, that's really in the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie really focuses on the character drama, and that works much better for the film's advantage. At the end of the day, I'm giving Transformers 1 a 9 out of 10. I really like this movie and was very surprised with what it brought to the table. And I highly recommend it. Not only if you're a Transformers fan, as I do think it nailed what I know about the lore correctly, but I also think that if you're trying to get into Transformers, this movie might just do it for you, as it gives you a lot of information and doesn't just leave you high and dry if you're not as knowledgeable to the source material. Anyway, that's my opinion on Transformers 1. What did you think about it if you've seen it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.